All right. Oh, let's start at stage 1 like we always do. Let's Bahamut Jin, not Bahamut Sin. Immune to poison, darkness, silence, stun, fatigue, fog, and feeble stop. All debuffs. Okay. Immune to all debuff. Is weak to ice. Triangle sigils to break X damage sigils. Okay. Uses physical and magic abilities. Attack changes based on force gauge, flare force. Force gauge can be depleted with damage. You just have the DPS. Use of certain abilities are dependent on the amount the gauge is filled. Inflicts physical and magic defense down and enfeeble with quadratic strike. Okay. So this looks to be like it's just going to be a straight DPS fight. The first thing we always do with every guild battle, we're going to go ahead and delete everything. I thought they said we weren't going to be able to use Memoria for guild battles. Maybe I misread that. Interesting. All right, first thing we always do though is we go to the buff, we go to auto formation, we go to points and click confirm. And our two characters are Yuffie and Matt. Oh, Matt. Oh, that sucks. They kind of did us dirty here. Interesting. Yeah, they kind of did us dirty here. I think we could probably work around it because I have a lot of OB10 weapons. So I think I can actually work around this for the most part. But a lot of folks will not be able to do that, right? So like right now, Nautilus Spiral's on here for 1050. I cannot have that on here. But changing it to this doesn't change anything. Because I was planning on using Matt for this. And like his outfit's on here too. I'm gonna have to take that off. Looks like it's up to the summer event for the gear. So I'll lose 7% here, but I do think I want Matt's outfit for this fight. Because I was planning on using Matt for this. Maybe ultimately I don't use Matt. Maybe I end up using somebody else instead. But I don't know who else I would use in this fight unless I did a full DPS build with all 3 ice damage dealers and Zack as my ice resist down. But that feels real risky. And I don't have a physical attack increase at that point then, right? Let's go into it assuming I'm using Matt. And then if I have to adjust, I'll adjust later, right? Let's go ahead and do a regular pull here. So we can use Memoria. So that means that the Memoria that we're going to want to use for this, by the way, is very cut and dry. This is not up for debate. It is just Memoria of Bahamut Sin. Not only does this give 1,000 physical attack, which is great, it increases your ice potency by 20% and does 20% more damage to summons. You need to get this from the event that's happening right now, and you need to level this up to 10, which means you have to just clear content in the game, right? Get this thing leveled up. It matters a lot. You're getting a ton of bonus damage at the end of this. Once it's level 10, you're getting 40% bonus damage to the enemy here. You definitely need this equipped for sure. Like, not up for debate, has to be that one. All right, so for the stage 1 fight, for folks that are new to guild battles, first of all, welcome. Hope you all are enjoying the Ever Crisis so far. For the guild battles, for this one in particular, I always, in stage 1, I always go a full DPS team. I do not bring in like a purposeful healer. I usually go in for just damage. And then I take that team that I built on stage 1, bring it to stage 5, try to see what my weaknesses are, and then adjust the team from there. So my healer here is going to be Matt. Even though Matt is featured on the buff score here, I am going to bring in Matt, and I'm going to have him use his Daryl Platis and the Nautilus Spiral. I do have his ultimate weapon. I'm going to have him use Vanquishing X here. I think this is going to be the best option, just because it removes physical attack down, magic attack and physical attack up. I don't know if it's going to buff itself or not, so we'll wait and see. If it doesn't buff itself, I will switch over to the Gigantic Shield or just give him a summon for damage. But for this stage 1 fight, like I said, I try to focus on just DPS. So I'm just going to give, it's not immune to any damage. So I'm just going to give him Judgment Bolt. Give him all magic defense materias. Notably right now, and I will not have a physical defense increase on this team. I don't think it's going to matter at the end of the day, but it's still notable, right? So I want physical attack all allies, attack all allies. We're going to go, like I said, I'm just going into straight damage here. Let's do this one for physical attack all allies. We'll give him the buff debuff extension with Rocket Lance. And then So I'm thinking, because originally I was planning on using Yuffie for her exploit weakness, but now her gear and her weapons are featured in this banner, or in this buff score. So that means I'm either using Tifa or Cloud here. So Tifa or Cloud. With the buffs to Cloud's sword, that does give me a heal that I don't need, right? Tifa's got a bit more damage, and the leather combat gloves give us a +1 tier to all of our DPS. And it has Enfeeble. Isn't this immune to Enfeeble though? It is immune to Enfeeble. Okay, so this is just Cloud then. It's just Cloud. Yeah, it's just Cloud. Since this is a significant upgrade now, this is 45%. That's actually better than this 30% damage, right? So I'm actually going to use his... Oh, I put it in the... hold on, I'll change that. All right, then I'm going to use his Saber Style. I'm going to use his Ice Weapon, which is... It is OB7. I'm going to give him his new Fusion Sword in his offhand. I'll give him his new Ultimate Weapon, the Ragnarok. Going to give him... He probably wants this, right? I think Sephiroth's going to do more damage than Cloud is. It's close, though. Right? Because they did buff this. 860 compared to 10. But Cloud's getting an extra 35% and exploit weakness from this. And the 30% boost from Sephiroth's thing. All right, so with this one, I have him as my secondary DPS. I'm going to give him all of my physical attack materia. Make sure that I have support materia off. Okay, great. I'm going to give him all my physical attack materia. And then, okay. So this is where things get a little weird. So I am going to need physical attack for both Cloud and for Sephiroth here. That has ice potency. There are 3 weapons that have boost 62. 1104. Yeah, I do think that Cloud's going to be a little bit stronger in terms of just like flat out DPS. And he'd do more damage with the summon, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, he gets 45% extra damage. That means more summon damage for Shiva. I changed my mind. I'm gonna build him like he's the primary. I'm gonna build him like he's the primary. I think this is more important. And it said triangle sigil. Yeah, and X. Okay, so let's do physical attack. I do want to give him an X sigil break here. I want Sephiroth to have one too, so I'm gonna give him one of the lower ones that I have. It'll decrease his DPS a little bit on those higher stages, but like I want him to have an X sigil break here. Does this have... No, it's circle, okay. Okay, so if Cloud's my main DPS, I need to make sure that he has all of the med damage weapons that I want him to have, right? So I want him to have the 2 physical attack weapons that both have ice potency, because I want him to max out there. So Blade of Ruin gets him to 52 points. Bald Eagle gets him to 8. Perfect. Perfect. And then I'm just going to give him the Barret weapon. This one. Okay. Perfect. Gets about 16,000 attack. Ice potency seems to be pretty strong. Last character is obviously going to be Sephiroth here. Notably, again, if you did not pull on the Sephiroth banner, there are other featured options. Tifa, Glenn, and Zack are basically the 3 you'd be looking at here. And Zack is fine. He's got ice resist down as well, so you'd be able to use that as well if you're interested. We are going to use his Soba. Then in his offhand, I have an option here. I do think having exploit weakness on Sephiroth is pretty important, right? I do. I think I'm gonna go with the exploit weakness. There's a world where I put on the Gla read here for the physical attack increase, but I think that the Blade of the Worthy is a better option. I do have his ultimate weapon as well. We're gonna go ahead and give him the Shiva summon, the Shiva Ramu summon to boost ice damage. Give him my top 3 physical attack. We're gonna put the X sigil down here. And then just put the whatever triangle sigil I have. I don't know if I'm gonna need triangle for him as well. But I'd rather have the option. It's probably this one, potency materia. We want the same thing here, right? We want physical attack and ice potency. The ice potency physical attack, we're gonna give the pressure ridge because that'll give 62 points with the ice potency. And then I think I can do Tifa's gloves. No, not quite. Not quite. What is another 62 physical attack weapon that does not have an elemental offhand ability? This would work. Ability potency, that would be fine. And it gets me to a level 5 break on the ability potency too. I'm actually not mad at that. Spear it is. By the way, great opportunity for folks that have not branded all of their ice weapons. This is usually when I do my branding, is for guild battles, because it makes me go through and brand all of my ice weapons. So here we're really just looking for physical attack because I'm never using this as a regular weapon. And then for the ice potency, I think we're actually high enough where I can do a 42 ice potency and it should be fine. So I think if I did even enhanced sword, I think this would be fine. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. All right, so pretty cut and dry in this one, right? First cast is going to be increasing my entire team's physical attack with Dara Platis, giving exploit weakness to both my other carries, and then it's just DPS down, right? Just DPS down. Not going to be too complicated. All right, let's jump into our first mock battle. So a reminder, stage 1 mocks, you always want to go into a stage 1 fight with all DPS. They usually do not do a lot of damage, so you want to go into this with as maximum amount of DPS as you can. Love the backdrop for this. Love the backdrop for this. It looks great. All right, so here we go. Oh, immediately into Sigil Breaks. Oh, I didn't give him one of the Sigil Breaks, huh? Whoops. We'll have to fix that. That's okay, though. Start getting this the debuffs down. It's almost maxed out. Get another buff on. So now we know though, so next time when I do the next fight, we won't put our buffs on because there's no reason to, right? We'll just save ATB for the Sigil Break phase. All right, so this is perfect. So now they should start doing their triangle ones. I wonder if it's gonna survive this first phase. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Oh my God, it's dead. It's dead. Holy crap. Okay, so yeah, that's really easy. So don't be me, by the way. Make sure you bring in Sigil Break materials on all 3 of your characters, and then don't cast the first ability until after you get past the Sigil Break phase. Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. All right, so same thing. We're gonna jump right into the stage 5 fight and do a mock. I'm not changing anything. We're just gonna go into it. I want to see exactly what it looks like, and we're gonna go from there. I know I still need a Sigil Break materia on Matt, but we're just gonna ignore that for now. I will do 1 Mending Wave just to get my my magic defense up here. It's interesting that the semi is choosing not to do damage sigils here. There it goes. It is using physical attacks during this, so notable, right? I think we just keep healing with Matt, right? Keep increasing magic defense. There's another spin attack, we just heal it back off. Umbral Strikes comes through. Does hit Cloud. I don't think there was a particular reason for that though. Not doing a ton of damage here. notably. We should be fine. That's fine. Lowers magic attack. That's not a big deal. We're not using magic attack anyways. Now those two should start using all of their triangle sigils here to knock this thing down. Gonna go ahead and heal again. Start using a couple attacks with Matt here. I do think it's worth overboosting here, so I'm gonna do it. They should work on their own here. Yeah, still really great damage here. I think it's probably worth it to use summons here. I'm gonna do it. Still a little bit of time left. Using Comet, but it's never going to get that attack off. Timer's gone, by the way. It's behind my face. You can't see it. So yeah, so absolutely use summons during that that fight, or that's damage break phase. There's a chance that breaking that sigil break phase faster. Great music, dude. Will give you a little bit more time to play with, but I'm pretty satisfied with how that went. I'll be totally blunt. I did 142 million damage. Yeah, that was not difficult at all. Because it's not really dealing that much damage, right? So the big takeaways here is that you need to have an AoE healer, right, for sure. I do think that Cloud's HP gain on his sword does help, but it's not so good that it's like enough to keep you healed up, I don't think. But they are casting Runeras during it, right? Yeah, I mean, 26% is not bad for a stage 5 fight. This is going to be the best I've do in a guild battle ever. That's going to be the best I do in a guild battle ever. Okay, so what we're going to do really quick is I'm going to build a team that's a bit more reasonable for folks to use, because I want to try to have a team here that is something that newer players can build, right? I don't think we changed Sephiroth because everybody at this point can pull for Sephiroth. But honestly, if you don't have Sephiroth, like I said before, the three characters are Zack, Glenn, and Tifa. So one of those three, all three of them got, well, Glenn and Zack specifically got ice weapons, and they're both usable in this. All right, so let's assume that folks do not have Cloud, and let's build around... I'm going to assume that people don't have Matt, too. I'm going to build Zack here with his Glacier armor, which I know folks probably won't have, but I just want to see what it looks like, from my perspective at least. Because it'll just... all it does is it increases our damage ceiling a bit higher. I'm going to steal this from Cloud, because now I'm using Sephiroth as a main DPS in this fight. I'm going to give him Shiva instead, and then give him the Ice Potency materia. So he has Triangle, he has X, so we're good there. So for Zack, we're going to give him Pressure Ridge, and then the offhand weapon for Zack, I think is just going to be Surfer Blade, right? I think the physical attack increase is probably the right call here, just so we have an option for it, right? Exploit Weakness is obviously fine for Zack here too, the Sword of the Hunt. It also gets a bonus from the Ice Potency up. Not that that matters as a magic weapon, but like, it's still a little bit of extra damage, right? But I think having a physical attack up option is definitely worth, for sure. We'll do that. Because even in OB0, the Surfer Blade's fine, right? It's fine. Sub-equipment. It's going to depend on how I build this, right? Because if I'm definitely getting rid of Cloud in this build, right? Because I'm assuming that folks don't have his physical ice weapon. So what other physical ice weapon would they have? I guess we could just use Glenn. Just give Bald Eagle instead. Deku, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Just do this instead, right? Yeah, same thing. Same thing. And then we can use Glenn and use Blade of Ruin. Blade of Ruin and what though? Pirate Slave? Right? Because that'll be our instance of healing. And it's Provoke and Veil. I think Pirate Slave is probably the right call though. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say the Pirate Slave is the call. If we end up taking too much damage and we have to adjust, then we'll figure that out when we get there, right? We'll get this to 110, so he's got some defenses to have on. That'll increase his defense overall. We'll give him his ultimate weapon. What's this one do? Removes physical attack up, magic attack up. I actually didn't see if it buffed itself. I don't think it did. And then Veil 40%. Good Lord. That's a massive Veil. He definitely doesn't need that, but like that's a crazy Veil. And then just mixed defenses, right? But we want to make sure that he has Triangle and X Sigil. So here's X Sigil. Here's Triangle Sigil. X Sigil should go there. And then just whatever highest physical defense stat stick we've got. Oh, a Cure. I'm down for that, actually. That works for me. And then I want physical attack, magic defense, physical defense. We're gonna go a little bit more defensive in this one. We'll do this one, and then just 2 guild weapons. This one and this one is fine. So 461, 403, 228, 448, 260, 378. That should be fine. And then that lets Zack take pretty much all of my other DPS stuff, right? So we can do physical attack here. So that's fine. And then a triangle and an X. But that way, we've got X Sigil plus here. We've got X Sigil plus here. And then I'll put this Blizzard Blow, that's triangle, into this slot. That way we get the triangle Sigil boost as well. That should help us break through that Sigil break phase faster. I don't know if that's going to matter or not. It's just going to stop him from dealing damage, which this party, it doesn't have a healer. So like, it's basically only focused on HP gain to get us that heal. And then Glenn's actually going to provoke all of the single target damage to himself, right? That's the idea. And so that way we don't have to worry about that. And then everything else I think stays the same. I'm not using this, right? We're using this one. Exploit weakness is cute and all, but want the ice potency up. As you can see, obviously a little bit weaker, but this is a little bit more attainable for people. If you don't have Sephiroth available, obviously just use Tifa, right? Or you can even use Yuffie if you have her ice weapon, her physical ice weapon specifically, at a decent overboost. But if you don't have Zack, like if you don't have Sephiroth for this, you're obviously not going to deal like the ceiling that I'm doing, right? But let's see how this one does. Let's see how this one does. I will specifically look to use Glenn's Blade of Ruin to start this fight, or his Pirate Slave to start this fight, to get the provoke down. I think this provokes too, right? It does, yeah. So we'll do this. Because this will give us HP gain, and it'll focus all of the single target attacks onto Glenn. Should still be fine. We have HP gain on as well, so they should still, yeah, see, look, they're healing with the HP gain. This actually should be okay. Let's get HP gain back on. It's gonna be a little tight. To get physical attack up. DPS, 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 DPS. Okay, and then do all our summons here. So again, obviously this is significantly weaker than the last one we did, which is not surprising in the slightest. That still did an assload of damage. We still have 30 seconds left, by the way. You can't see it because it's behind my face, but we still have plenty of time left to deal damage here. Can we live a comet? This looks sick already. Oh my God, that's so cool. The answer is no, by the way. Oh my God, that did so much damage. Good Lord. That was sick. What a cool animation. That was dope. What did we end up doing though? Honestly, 11% with this build? That's pretty good. 61 million damage with Blade of Ruin and Pressure Ridge. That's pretty attainable, right? That's pretty attainable. That's not bad at all. Yeah, that's not bad at all. And like I said, obviously that's supplemented a lot by Sephiroth's weapon because he increases your entire team's ice damage by 30% when he casts his ice weapon. So like that does help a lot with the final score. But even with the Tifa weapon, you should still be hitting for about 7 to 8% if you have it at a decent overboost level. The Holy Flame Gloves and her Omni Arcanum as well gets an extra 30% on that. It should be fine. It should be fine. Yeah, this one doesn't seem too bad. This one doesn't seem too bad at all. And especially because it's immune to debuffs, so you don't have to worry about bringing in a physical or physical defense or any magic and physical attack debuffs. You just have to kind of keep taking the attack, and HP gain was enough. So as always, I'm going to wrap up the YouTube video portion of it here. But as always, I will go through this and continue to tweak it over the next couple of days, and I will post my official attempts over on the YouTube channel. So if you like the video, make sure you like the video, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate y'all watching. Hope y'all enjoyed the guild battle video, and if this is your first guild battle, don't feel overwhelmed. Don't get yourself too up in a knot. This is normal. It's very difficult, these fights can be, because you need to have the actual buff scores to really see that high damage number that you're going to see from like me in particular, right? If you have a buff score of 74 or 73, this team does a lot of damage, right? But if your buff score is only 20, your damage is going to be a lot lower. So don't get frustrated. Don't get too irritated by it. Go into the fight knowing what your team is able to do based on the buff score, based on your team's total power, and then go into the stage that works best for you by doing the mock battles and seeing how you do better or how you fare in each of the fights. But if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section down below. And as always, we'll see you in the next one. Have a great day, YouTube. Bye.